the applications. This chapter is mainly on different applications like we study about inverting amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, voltage follower, the summer, and also the DC amplifiers and AC amplifiers we are going to study. So DC amplifiers means whatever the amplifiers we have already studied. Say these are the amplifiers which you have already studied in your basic electronics. Those are all known as DC amplifiers because there we were not using any capacitor. We were just using the resistance and we were using it. So, but when it comes to AC amplifier, we'll be using capacitor along with it. So, such kind of amplifiers are known as AC amplifiers. So, there is just small change over there. Just we add some capacitor to filter out the DC component. For that purpose, we are going for AC amplifiers. So, after that, we are having Schmitt trigger, zero crossing detector, and we are even having instrumentation amplifier. So these are the different applications which we are going to study. So let us begin with inverting amplifier. Um, so the inverting amplifier, as you know that the input is given to the inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal will be grounded. And also in this applications or in the op amp, the virtual ground is very, very important, the virtual ground concept. Can anyone tell me what is virtual ground or what is virtual ground concept? What is virtual ground concept? You have already studied in basic op amps.
Terminal being virtually grounded with respect to the non-inverting terminal.
Hmm. So the terminal, the junction, which is great. If you take this junction V1, so this junction will be in line with this V2, the terminal V2. That means non-inverting, whatever we have at the non-inverting terminal, the same thing will be lying across this junction or the node. So if this non-inverting terminal is grounded, then if you measure the voltage across this terminal, this junction V1, it will also give you 0 volt. Suppose this non-inverting terminal is given with some 5 volt input, then if you measure at this point, it is going to give you 5 volt, 5 volt. So that means the virtual ground concept, it is going to tell you, it is appear as if it is grounded. Suppose if the non-inverting terminal is grounded, even the junction which is in the inverting terminal, it appears to be grounded virtually, but not physically. Physically means it has to be connected to the ground point. Virtually means it cannot be seen, but it will be appearing like a ground at this point. So when they are going to give voltage to this, even though it is virtual ground, known as virtual ground concept, we even it is going to apply for the voltage which is whenever we give voltage across V2, the same voltage lie across V1. So don't think that a virtual ground is applicable only to the virtual the ground terminal of the non-inverting. Whenever it is grounded, only during that time V1 will be grounded. It is also applicable when non-inverting terminal is given voltage. During that time also, you'll be having same voltage. Total, just remember this node which is created at the inverting terminal will follow the voltage or the ground level whatever we have at the non-inverting terminal. This is known as virtual ground concept. This cannot be proved physically. This can be proved only mathematically. Mathematically we can prove, but physically it is not visible. So that's why it is known as virtual ground. So here in the inverting amplifier, we are going to give the input to the inverting terminal. So since we are giving it to the inverting terminal, the input and the output will be having a phase difference of 180 degree. So they have a phase difference of 180 degree. Now we have to find an equation for the output V naught. In order to find the output V naught, what we have to do is we have to apply KCL, Kirchhoff current law, to this junction. Whatever we have here, to this junction, we have to apply the Kirchhoff current law. So we know that Kirchhoff current law, the current entering is equal to current leaving. And one more thing, according to the characteristics of op amp, we have the input impedance of the op amp is very, very high. So ideally, we tell the input impedance is infinity, but practically, the input impedance will be in terms of mega ohm or almost mega ohm. We have seen it is in terms of 1 mega ohm. So because of this, what happens? The very less current, even though we apply Kirchhoff current law, and even though we are going to apply current from the input terminal, and we tell current entering is equal to current leaving. So there are two paths which are available for the current to flow. Once it comes to this junction, one path is this one, through feedback it can go. Other one is this one. So why the current will not move towards this terminal is, since it is going to offer very high input impedance, the resistance offered by these terminals are very, very high. When the resistance offered by these terminals are very, very high, during that time, so very less minute amount of current will be flowing. So when very less amount of current is going to flow here, we just neglect it and we assume that the current through the inverting terminal is zero. Okay. So the entire current which is coming to this will be leaving through the feedback and we are going to get the output. So now you might get one question, why this is offering very, very high resistance? Why this input terminals are offering very, very high resistance? Can anyone tell me why it is offering very high resistance? Leah? Leah is there? Is she absent? Noreen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me why the current will not pass through this op amp? Or
Because
why?
input resistance will be very high.
What makes it to be very high? What is the reason behind that?
The op amps are generally designed to have very high input resistance.
Yeah, very high input resistance, fine. But what makes them to have that much? While designing, they have done something, no?
Uh,
So in the last class, I was discussing about the basics, what it contains, all those things.
yeah, it contains transistors inside.
Transistor inside. If you analyze it, you'll get the answer for this.
The base resistance is high.
Yes, because both these terminals are the base terminals of the transistors. So this goes to the one of the base terminals of the transistor. This goes to other base terminal of the transistor. We know that base is offering always a high resistance. It is in terms of mega ohm. So obviously, when you consider them as the input terminals, the resistance offered will be high. In this way, we tell the op amp is having very, very high resistance, high input impedance. So this is how you have to analyze the things, and this is how they want you to uh, know the things. Even you go for interviews, and they'll ask simple questions. Yes, you are telling high input impedance or low output impedance. Why it is having high input impedance, low output impedance? Simple question. We always know. We just keep on telling the parameters. It is low input low output like that. But why? Means this is the reason. Okay. So now, because of that, less current, and you know that the current through the base will be micro in terms of microamperes. So that is very negligible. In I in even in the transistor only, we are going to neglect it as I is equal to IB plus IC. We are going to neglect IB, and will take I is approximately equal to IC. So that's why here also we just neglect the current which is entering the op amps. So now we apply the Kirchhoff current law. So from that, the current entering is equal to current leaving. So we take I1 is equal to I2. So when I1 is equal to I2, afterwards we will apply the voltage. We write the current in terms of voltage and resistance. So if you take I1, VI minus V1 by R1. When it comes to RF, it is the current which is flowing from V1 to V0. So V1 minus V0 by RF. So we just substitute V1 minus V0 by RF. So here we know that this is known as This point is known as virtual ground. So when it is virtual ground, we just look into the positive terminal. What is the position of the positive terminal? It is grounded. When this is grounded, automatically this will also be grounded. So the voltage V2 will be equal to voltage V1. So now what happens? According to virtual ground concept, V1 will be equal to 0. So wherever we have V1, we just substitute it as 0. So V1 is 0, V1 is 0, V1 is 0, it substitutes 0. We will get on rearranging the equation, we get V0 is equal to minus Rf by R1 into Vi. So here Rf by Ri is our gain, Vi is our input voltage, minus indicates it is going to invert the input signal. So input and the output are having a phase difference of 180 degree. So don't think that minus is the negative gain. So to confuse you, maybe in the interviews also they might ask you, is inverting op amp having negative gain or positive gain? See, always the gain will be positive only when you take an amplifier. Okay, so here minus sign indicates it is just inverting the input and the output. There is a phase difference of 180 degree between input and output. And even in the problem, if they ask you to find the gain, you have to find by just taking Rf by R1. You should not take minus sign. Minus sign is entirely different. It is just indicating that your output is inverted form of input. For that purpose, you are using minus. Minus is not indicating the gain or voltage value. Okay, after this, we are having non-inverting amplifier. Here in the non-inverting amplifier, what happens is the voltage is given to the non-inverting terminal and the inverting terminal is grounded. So here we have a feedback resistance here, and input and the output resistance. So input and output voltages, you can see they are in phase. They don't have any phase difference because the input is given to the non-inverting terminal. So whenever input is given to the non-inverting terminal, the output and input will be in phase. So they will be not having any difference. So again, even though we are giving input to the non-inverting terminal, but while applying the Kirchhoff current law, we have to apply to this circuit only, inverting circuit only. Why? Because we are having the feedback circuit to the negative terminal of the op amp, or we are having the feedback circuit to the inverting terminal of the op amp. So that's why we have to apply the Kirchhoff current law to this inverting terminal. We should not apply it for the non-inverting terminal. We have to apply the Kirchhoff current law to the inverting terminal, not to the non-inverting terminal. Can anyone tell me, instead of having this by mistake, instead of having this feedback resistance getting connected with output and input to the inverting terminal, if you're going to connect to the positive terminal, what will happen? Chandana is there?
Yes, sir.
Chandana, tell me. Instead of connecting this feedback resistance like this, if you are going to connect the feedback resistance to the non-inverting terminal of the op amp, what might happen?
The overall gain will be positive itself.
Overall
In
gain will
fact,
be?
the overall gain will be positive at last.
No, always it will be positive. Even in the last case also, that's why I was stressing. Negative sign just indicate it is inverting. Input and output are inverting. Gain is positive only.
I think
Feedback will be positive, sir. Feedback will become positive.
Feedback becomes positive means what will happen?
Sir, it doesn't invert, sir. Output and input.
It is not inverting also. No, now it is not inverting. Output input we are not inverting. It is having same phase difference. We don't want to invert.
Yes, sir, that's it, sir. That is only the difference, sir. In last case, output was inverting with respect to input, sir. But
See
here,
here, see here also we are giving the feedback to the inverting terminal only. We are not giving to the non-inverting terminal. My question is, if I connect this feedback resistance to the non-inverting terminal, what might happen? See here also we have given the feedback to the non-inverting terminal only. Sorry, inverting terminal. We have given it to the inverting terminal. Here also we have given the feedback to the inverting terminal only. But suppose if you
So
are
will it be
connecting
unstable?
unstable, how?
Because of noise or something?
No.
So for negative feedback, the gain will be high. So if the feedback is positive, the gain might reduce.
Mm-hmm. You're just telling reverse. Anybody?
Sir, output will be inverted, sir.
No.
No, sir, the input, when the input is going to the op amp, even the part of the feedback also goes to the input. But then if we give it to the negative, a part of the feedback won't go to the input signal.
Where it will go then?
It will, it won't be used, sir, because we are not giving anything to the non-inverting terminal. We are not giving a signal. So yeah, that's
Then
it, sir.
anybody, any other answers? Prajwal? Prajwal is there?
Yes, sir, that's what I told. The output might be inverted.
No.
Or else is there a
The
phase
inversion
in
depends
the
on which terminal it's given to, not the feedback.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, inversion is different. Inversion depends upon where you are giving
Which
input,
terminal?
which
Yes,
terminal you
sir.
are giving input. So there is no relation between feedback and inversion.
Sir, like if feedback is connected to the input, it reduces the part of the voltage, sir. But if it connected to the output terminal, that is like non-inverting terminal, means we can say that both the input and output will match.
No. See, in both the cases, we are doing the same thing. No, here also we are giving inverting terminal. Here also we are giving to the inverting terminal, to the same inverting terminal. So that's why on that day I had shared one video, basics of feedback. Just look into that video because that is also some part of that syllabus is there for your syllabus. So and that you have already studied in in your basic electronics. That's why I told you to look into that video. There I have explained what happens when you give a negative feedback, what happens when you give positive feedback. Just look into that video once because that is there for your syllabus also. There we will be discussing about negative feedback. See, in this, at the beginning only, we discussed the open loop gain of the op amp is 2 into 10 to the power of 5. 2 into 10 to the power of 5 means it is having a gain of 2 lakh. That means when you are not giving this feedback, the gain is 2 lakh. Okay, but that much high gain we don't require for any of our application. That much high amplification we doesn't require. Okay, so that's why what we do is in order to reduce that for our applications, in order to adjust that gain for our applications, what we are doing is we are giving a feedback. We give a feedback. Here again, there are two ways of giving a feedback. One is we can connect feedback means what connecting output to input through a resistor or capacitor. So that is a feedback. Just connecting output to the input, shorting them. That is a feedback. The output when it is connected to the input, there are two possibilities: connecting it to the inverting as connecting to the non-inverting. See, usually what happens is when you are going to connect the output to the inverting terminal, it is known as negative feedback. When you have negative feedback, during that time, it tries to reduce the gain. See, already it is having 2 into 10 to the power of 5. it will tries to reduce that gain to our requirement. See, we find the gain if RF is equal to 20 kilo ohm and R1 is equal to 10 kilo ohm, and we are talking about okay, here only this is 20 kilo ohm and this is 10 kilo ohm. So what will be the gain? It is a non-inverting op amp. The gain formula is 1 plus RF by R1. So it will be equal to 3, right? 1 plus RF by R1 means 20 kilo ohm by 10 kilo ohm. So that becomes 2. 1 plus 2 becomes 3. So gain is 3. So just imagine by this resistance, we are able to reduce 2 lakh gain to 3. Just compare 2 into 10 to the power 5 gain is reduced to 3. So for our application, how much ever we want, that much amount of gain is we can adjust, because all the devices see, finally this is an op amp, operational amplifier. It is an amplifier. So all our devices which can be connected the output may not be able to withstand very high gain. See, your mobile require some 5 volt to charge itself. So if you are giving 25 volt, 30 volts, 230 volts, what happens? It get damaged, right? The same way, so for any applications, based upon the application, we have to give the output. To adjust that, we give a feedback. So whenever you are giving feedback to the negative terminal, that is inverting terminal, during that time, the gain can be adjusted and no way the gain can be increased. Then no way the gain can be increased. It can only be decreased. The gain can be decreased. It cannot be increased when you give it to the negative terminal. But if you give the gain, if you give the feedback to the positive terminal, what happens is it will add a gain. Already it is having some gain. To that, it is going to again add some gain. See, already we are having too much of gain. So if you give this feedback to the positive terminal, what happens? Its gain further increases. Okay, but we don't want that to happen here. But this positive feedback will be used only in oscillator. The positive feedback is used only in oscillator. May I know why we use positive feedback in oscillator? I think you have already done oscillator experiment, right, in lab? Hello?
So gain should be maximum for oscillators.
Yeah, gain should be maximum. Why the gain should be maximum? Why you want the additional gain? Why you don't have 2 into 10 to the power 5 there? Or you don't have any gain of the gain over there? Why we have to give that positive feedback in oscillator is, see, in oscillator you are not going to give any input. It has to generate the input. See, what happens in oscillator, we are not giving the signal generator. What we do, we connect the output as part of the output as input. So the part of the output acts as input. So if you want a very good quality signal, what you have to do, you have to increase the gain of the gain. The increasing means what? Strength of the output signal has to be increased and that has to be given as input. So obviously the gain has to be keep on increasing in oscillator, because I have told, but whether you remember it or not, see, in oscillator, how it works is, again I'll explain in detail when oscillator part comes, because in module 2 we have oscillator part. In oscillator we don't have any signal generator, or we don't give any external input. The input will be, the part of the output will be given as feedback. That is what RC phase shift oscillator, or the Hartley or Colpitts oscillator, where we use inductor, capacitor, and we give a feedback. And in crystal also we connect output and input through a crystal. So the output is fed as input. Now the part of the output will act as input. So whatever you are generating, that will be acting as input. So see, after generating, we are able to see the sinusoidal signal. But how actually it starts? See, some part of the output if you are, I'll just use this one. So let us take, this is our oscillator. This is our oscillator circuit we are having, and this is our input, and this is our output we are having. So at the output we have got this signal, and this will be fed as input here, and this input will be fed again here. This will be amplifying. Fine. But how you got this first signal? Because you don't have any input. Input is not, input signal is not given. This output should be acting as input here. See how actually this first signal, because you are having continuous signals like this, how you are going to generate the first signal? When you are generating first signal, then only you are able to generate the second signal. So how you got this first signal is, see here in the oscillator, we will be using voltage divider bias circuit, and we are going to use plus VCC and minus VE, and input is not given. And output circuit and input circuits are short circuited. It might be through inductor capacitor or through resistor capacitor. Now what happens is, inside this transistor, some kind of noise will be generated. When initially, when there is no feedback, or when there is no signal which is generated, so during that time feedback will be zero only. So during that time what happens is, inside this transistor some kind of noise will be generated. Since plus VCC is present, we know that this plus VCC and minus VE are responsible for shifting the operating point. This plus VCC and minus VE are adjusted in such a way that the operating point will be in active region. Once it is an active region, automatically what happens to the transistor? The transistor starts working like an amplifier. This noise itself will be amplified and given out. Once it is given out, what we are doing? We are not simply just passing that noise as a feedback. What we are doing? We are passing it through a feedback network. What does this feedback network contains? Some feedback network contains LC, some feedback network contains RC. And we have the formula, F is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi root LC. Root LC formula we have. By properly designing this L and C value, we can choose particular frequency. Now what happens is the noise. So let us assume some noise is generated like this. This noise, when it is fed to this feedback network, this feedback network, it is going to tune this noise to some particular frequency. So let us assume I have designed it for 100 kilohertz. So now this signal is tuned to 100 kilohertz. When it is tuned to 100 kilohertz, you know that the frequency is the main reason for the shape of the signal, right? So you'll get a signal like this. Now it is being fed here. So when it is going to fed here, automatically again the oscillator is going to amplify this signal. This keeps on doing. Now here the feedback network, as you have seen in the concept of feedback, the feedback network is not only giving the frequency, along with that it is going to give the phase difference. It is going to create the phase difference. Also what it is going to do, it is going to give an amplifier, it is going to increase the gain also. Gain of this feedback signal is being increased. Okay, that factor we call it as beta. Beta is the feedback factor. So beta is the feedback factor with respect to this. But the same beta, if you take for this amplifier circuit, it will be current gain. But beta with respect to the feedback network is feedback factor. So this feedback factor is output by input. So what it overall, the feedback network, what it is going to do is, it is going to change the frequency of the signal, change the phase of the signal, and add some gain to it. So here, why I am telling all these things is, by just having this kind of feedback, we are adding some gain to the signal. Because of this, the strength of the signal is increasing. But when it comes to this point, this thing, we don't require any such things to happen. We just want to reduce the gain, because already the op-amp is having 2 into 10 to the power of 5, and we are not telling op-amp is not given with any voltage op amp is given with voltage. So we are going to use negative feedback here. If you give positive feedback, the output will be very, very high. You can try in the lab. If you are in online any softwares, you can try. If you give positive feedback during that time, instead of getting sine wave, you'll get square wave. Can you tell me why you'll get square wave? It's a common sense question. If you are going to give input as sine wave, but you'll get square wave if you use positive feedback. Anybody? Chandrika is there? Hello? Chandrika is there or absent? Ashwini? Even Ashwini is absent. Leah is there? Leah
Yes,
Gafar.
sir.
Can you answer this question? I was calling you a few minutes back. You are not there.
So I'm here, sir.
I was calling your name, but you didn't answer. Okay, fine. Now you tell me this one. If I'm going to give positive feedback, see now till now I have told you what happens in positive feedback, what happens in negative feedback. But still, if you try to give a positive feedback and you give a sine wave, what will be? I am telling output will be a square wave. Why is that? In the last class, I have told you all the basics which are important.
So there will be a small difference in the input, and because of which the output can go out of the range. It can either go negative or positive. So it will appear as a square wave because of that.
Hey, please, can you tell me again?
So there will be some difference in the input signals at the at the terminal. So the output can go out of phase in either the positive or negative direction.
So that is input offset. Okay. So in the last class, I have explained about saturable property of an op amp. Do you remember saturable property?
So is it because when you give a positive in the positive cycle and the inverting terminal, sir, the op amp will turn on because of the difference. So then it will give you a high voltage in the output, which will be
See, I'm using this circuit only. I'm giving input to the positive terminal. Instead of giving the feedback to the negative terminal, I'm giving it to the positive terminal. What might happen?
the feedback will be to the positive terminal.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sir, is it because of the high open loop gain, sir?
How high open loop gain? Fine, correct. Why will get square wave?
Sir, when that only, sir, is it because of high open loop gain, sir?
Yeah, open loop gain, fine. That is correct. There is some next part you have to tell.
So is it because the output wave will be a very large sine wave and it appears as a sine wave? I mean, square wave.
You are very near to the answer. But what makes it to be square wave?
So I think it's because a part of it is chipped.
Why it is clipped?
Sir,
I
is it
told
because of
saturable
plus
property of
VCC
an
and minus VCC?
yes, yes.
Yeah,
See,
it has a limit of 12 or 15.
yeah, yeah. So whatever you give here, plus VCC and minus VE, that is the range you can get the output. If you are going to get the output beyond this range, it starts clipping. So when you are going to give a positive feedback, what happens? It is going to further increase. Already you know that in negative feedback only, if you are giving more gain, and if you are keep on increasing the input only, you will be getting square some clipped way. When you are giving, instead of negative feedback, you are giving positive feedback, means automatically gain will increase. When gain will increase means what happens? You'll get a large signal, very high signal you'll be getting. A very high signal like this, you'll be getting very high signal. So when you get very high signal, what happens? But your limit is very less. It clips off this much. So if you are going to take this much part, this part, it looks like a square wave, right? It looks like a square wave because the gain is also increasing. The gain is also increasing, and also this plus VCC and minus VE are controlling the output. If you are going to increase beyond this plus VCC and minus VE, automatically clips the upper parts. When you have large signal, no, automatically it will be having large clipping. So automatically it looks like a square wave instead of a sine wave. This is the answer. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. These things why I told is these are all the basic things you should know. Once you have studied this circuits, you should know this basics. This is the basic things which you have learnt in basic electronics only, but you have forgotten, I guess. Okay, fine. So I1 is equal to I2. Again, we'll take between here I1. I1 is the current which is flowing from the ground to V1. So 0 to V1, 0 to V1 divided by R1. So we are taking the current I1. For that, we are just taking I1 in terms of voltage and resistance. I2, we are taking between V1 and V0. V1 minus V0 by Rf. After that, we will rearrange it. We will get an equation. V0 is equal to V1 into 1 plus Rf by R1. Suppose, and also we know that according to virtual ground concept, this input Vi becomes V1. So V0 is equal to Vi into 1 plus Rf by R1. So 1 plus Rf by R1 is the gain of the amplifier we are having. After that, we are having inverting adder. So inverting adder is the one which is going to add up too many signals, any number of signals, and it is going to amplify the added signals. So this inverting adder can also be asked as just summer, inverting summer. So I'll just tell you how to change that one. Please concentrate. Here we are having three inputs. In the previous cases, we are having only one input. Here we are having three inputs. So we will be taking Kirchhoff. We will be applying Kirchhoff current law to the same this point. So this node and this node both are same only. So current entering is equal to current leaving. So this is the current leaving. So IF is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. This current we are having, and we assume no current through this point because it is offering very high input impedance. That's why we will assume less current will flow. We just neglect it. After that, we just take IF. IF is the current which is flowing from this node to this node. This is 0 because according to virtual ground concept, non-inverting terminal is grounded. So this voltage also voltage at this point will also be 0. 0 minus V0 by Rf. And for I1 is this current, V1 minus 0 by R1, V2 minus 0 by R2, V3 minus 0 by R3. So we rearrange this. Afterwards, we take, because our intention is to write an equation for V0. Afterwards, if you take R1, R2, R3 values are same, then you'll get minus Rf by R into V1 plus V2 plus V3. So this Rf by R is what? The gain. It is the gain. Okay. So from this equation, what we understand is this circuit, whatever we have written, it is going to add the inputs and it adds some gain to it and gives the output. Suppose if they are asking, I want to just add the signal, can you tell me how you can use this circuit to just add? I don't want to amplify the signal. I just want to add the signal. What you are going to do? Anyone?
RF and R should be equal.
Yes, simple. RF and R should be all. RF, R1, R2, R3, make everything equal. So during that time, what happens? RF and R gets cancelled. Remaining thing is V0 is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. In exam, it can be asked in any way. They can ask you just design a summer circuit. So, or they can ask design an summing amplifier. Summing amplifier means sum it and amplify it. If it is just in summing circuit, then you are just going to add them. Same derivation, but RF and R should be equal. When RF and R are equal, they get cancel each other and we'll get the output V0 is equal to minus of V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay, so this is one application. After this, we are having non-inverting adder. So that non-inverting adder, we can do it in the next class. So we'll stop it at this point.